Good morning, everyone. It is day 36 of the Best Start Guide, which might be increasingly inaccurately named the Best Start Guide because is this really the best start anymore? I don't know. Is this really the start anymore? I don't know. But I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to continue to try to make the best decisions possible for early game. First thing I'm going to point out for today is I have made it, or rather, yesterday, I made it all the way to Gold 1, and I even got some wins in Gold 1. Uh, but for the most part, I want to stick to easy fights in Gold 1. Although I look today, we got four in a row. Basically, here's what we're doing. If I can manage to click on the right challenge again, we've got win 10 classic arena battles in a row, Gold 1 or higher. So I got four in a row, but now we've been knocked out because of the arena reset. We even get a chest. Let's see if we get a shard. No shard today. Dang it. But we got a little bit of gear. We got some gems. That's always a plus. But here's an easy win. So let's just go in and do it. I don't know if this is going to completely reset our counter for wins in a row. If it does, then we're going to have to fight our way back to gold and win 10 times in a row once we get there. I'm just going to go back to the challenges and see because I actually have no idea. And it hasn't affected it. So I don't know. I don't know if a loss in silver is going to reset it, but a win in silver doesn't seem to affect it. So we'll try to just win in silver. I don't know. Maybe we could even risk it. Let's look for an easy fight first. We'll do the easy ones. Try to push ourselves along back into gold. I could even try a somewhat more robust team at this point because I could get Apothecary into the team. I could get Tagore into the team. I actually have an all magic variant that I put together with proper presets and everything. It's a little slower though because it doesn't use the speed lead. Magic Hour. Uh, I had the challenge at the reset saying, use all champions of all one affinity, and also sometimes you get the use a magic champion. That one frequently comes up. Was that today or was that yesterday? Now I can't recall. I'll have to look. But you get the daily quest, right? Where you get an advanced one, fighting classic from a single affinity, and from the passes. It was win using at least one magic champion. So I created a team that would do that. I still prefer the main team though, because it still utilizes the Sun Wukong arena aura. I really like that. I like having access to that much power at the beginning of the game. Having access to the ability to have a fast aura. So it's day 36. There's not really a lot of new stuff going on in the game. So I figured today might be a good day to actually attempt Hydra. Since Hydra resets soon, it'd be nice to see if we can win a little bit of the resources that drop from Hydra. It's open. It's been open for a couple of days. I haven't bothered with it because I suspect we're not going to be able to get 1.66 million, which is basically what we need, and we really need it in one key. I don't want to attempt three keys because I think we really only have enough champions to do one serious attempt at Hydra. I think basically if that first team can't get to 1.66 million, that we can't do it. So what was it? It was get a shield, fitting, equipped, maybe substats, speed, and look for a decent shield. that maybe could be rolled up to 8. I mean, this one looks pretty neat, come to think of it. It's got a speed substat and everything. So we'll just roll this one up to 8. It gets the daily pass. I am trying to keep up on the passes because if we get these nice little pieces of gear, where are they? You can even get shields from here. That's kind of cool. Maybe we already won the accessory pieces. I suppose we did. In fact, these are banners, I believe. And we've got more resources for the forge. We can even look at these pieces, because I haven't looked at these pieces in a while. Filter, show me just the new stuff. So we've got a barbarian banner. This could be cool for... I mean, what barbarians are we using? We got War Maiden, of course. So if we get War Maiden to 6, we have an accuracy banner for her. That'd be really neat. I'd still prefer one with speed as a subset, but you know, you get what you get, right? And we got accuracy for Knight's Revenant. I don't think we have much in the way of Knight's Revenant. We can look at, we just include everybody in the vault. Who would this even help? So barbarians. Oh, let's not forget we have Jamarsa. She's a barbarian. She doesn't need accuracy though, but Hoskarul, if we want to use him as a crowd controller, that would be really good if we build him up to 6. This is really only going to be relevant if we build one of these champions up to 6. I probably wouldn't bother getting Shield Guard the accuracy, because even though he does have a decreased speed on his A1, the rest of his kit doesn't really use it. It's the small decreased speed. It's a nice little bonus to have, but it's usually not the main consideration when I'm building him. So like his accuracy of 21, that's what he's got. I don't really care. I'd like to roll up his boots at some point to make him a little tougher. But we got to focus on the main people. And the other was Knight Revenant. We got Golden Reaper, come to think of it. Golden Reaper's probably the only one where I'd want to bother. And she does have the decreased attack on the whole enemy party, which we'll probably need at some point. We could even make a hybrid Golden Reaper where she's good and fast. She does the decreased attack, but she's also got some crowd control. I don't know, she only has one AoE. I'd probably want to keep her with speed stuff. So that's probably the only consideration there. So let's see. We will check in. Is this going to be more energy? Why am I having trouble checking in? Oh my god. I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know what it is on some days. Really. Now let's try that again. Okay, it worked. It's gems today. Excellent. We don't end up sitting on too much. So for quests, it's always important to get on this. So we got to beat a clan boss not a clan boss, a campaign boss 3 times. We can go ahead and knock that out. Durham Forest is maybe a little faster, so we'll do that. Kale's gear has been tweaked a little because in the challenges, I had to equip him with 16 or level 16 pieces of gear. So I swapped out a faster helmet for a slower helmet that looked more worthwhile rolling up to 6. The upshot of this is that his crit rate is now 86 instead of being the 67 that it had been before. So his 86% crit rate is perfect for running against teams that are largely spirit. I'm, of course, running him against a mostly magic team here. Just because it was easier. You know what? Let's move up to area 12. Because at area 12, he's basically got 100% crit rate because of it. And I think the way he runs with this food. Also, I'm using a preset. I don't know how often I point this out. We'll go to stage 7. I am using a preset on Kale. So this way, when I switch between stages, I don't actually have to switch up the food because I switch up the food anytime I reset the preset. With Kale, I have him open with Acid Rain and then not use it again until the following round where he doesn't use it at all. I don't want him using this because often Disintegrate is good enough to get through wave 2, and if it's not, I just want him to A1 until we hit the third wave, where he will use Acid Rain if it's a wave, and if it's a boss, he won't use it. He'll just go for his Disintegrate and his Dark Bolt. So it's kind of perfect. This is exactly the way I would set Kale. If you have Galek, I think his AI is identical to Kale's. Elhain is a little bit different, and Athel is, of course, also different. So I can't really tell you offhand what exactly to do with the presets with those, but it's the kind of thing where you start to get a feel for it after a while, and you'll just kind of know. Alright, he will use the AoE if you're up against a boss with minions. That's good to know. And that's actually really handy, because it meant he dealt with the minions immediately. So we've knocked out this last quest, so we're on top of the dailies. I like to do the advanced every day too. I've been pretty diligent so far, so we're actually working towards another legendary book, which will probably also go into Sun Wukong, although it is tempting. It is tempting to put it into Xeno. These two are definitely getting booked before Rathalos, just because they're getting used. Xeno is now ascended to 5. I'm going to get her to 6 as quickly as possible. We really don't have enough food right now. Let's see. How many 4s do we have? So I have enough 4-star 40s that I'm prepared to sacrifice. I clicked on Armiger just because he was the highest one. I'll often click on a unit that just kind of I know I can see the usable ones because these are unlocked, but he's locked. PSA, people, public service announcement. Always lock your best champions. If there's a particular uncommon you think you're going to use, lock them. Important to lock them. This guy's locked, as you can see. This guy's locked. I can see all these other guys are locked, including the rares. Whenever you get an epic, your epic will come in locked already. Same thing with legendaries. Legendaries and epics, they assume you're going to want those to be locked. Rares and below, they don't assume that, although the first couple of rares that you get will also be locked. So your starter, say you started with Athel, she will start off locked. I didn't start with Athel, but I still locked her when I got her because I am fairly certain we want to keep Athel as our main farmer for faction wars. I'm trying to keep one in every faction. What factions are open today? Ooh, we got barbarians. Come to think of it, because it's a barbarian day, maybe this would be a better day to make sure we get as many stars as possible. So we could do the stage 7. I mean, I didn't put this here, but, you know, I'm going to put in barbs. I think maybe that's a better thing to knock out. Just because you can always look along this track. They're just rare books, come to think of it. But we always want to work towards that Lydia. Is Lydia a realistic goal in the first year? I don't know. On my main account, when I first started this game, it took me 14 months to get Lydia. So I think it might be possible to get Lydia in the first year, but it does get pretty crazy because you do need a fully functional faction for every faction. And it's got to be everyone. And there are two more factions than when I started, because now we have to worry about Sylvan Watchers. I didn't have to worry about this when I first started. What do we even have? I think the main damage dealer is still this uncommon. If I just look at the units for a second, I want to take a look at them all. In Sylvan Watchers, we don't even have enough people to fill the team. But basically, we want area of effect attacks. This guy has one. And it places leech. That's handy. His passive seems really, really not particularly useful. Increases the speed by 2 for each enemy under leech. That just does not seem particularly powerful. So she has her area of effect attack. We can book it down to a 3-turn cooldown. That's going to be good for lower level faction wars. But Enda, Moonbeam, this could also be booked to a 3-turn cooldown. Is it worth the epic books though? I think probably not. Because if we consider who really needs the epic books right now, go to the tavern. We've got 4 already. Tagor could still use a couple of books, but I think they're just it's just 1 in his A1. So that's a big bag of who cares. He doesn't need any more books. Jamarsa, I think, is also fully booked as far as we care. I don't think we need this extra 5% on the sleep on her A1. It's possible that we do, but I think we really don't. But we're probably even holding out for a hero, right? We might want to build Gorlos after all with the books. Gorlos is our very first epic on this account. But I'm still not committed to building him out, even though he's pretty good. He's got the decreased defense on the whole enemy party. He's got the HP burn, which can be booked up to 100%. It'd be on a 4-turn cooldown. This is not stellar. This is the one thing holding me back. Because I'm really thinking we need a good HP burn champ. We did get another one. And now I'm blanking on who that was. Is it her? Yeah, she's got HP burn on her A1. This is who we pulled yesterday, come to think of it. So she's got the HP burn, which can be booked up to a 50, 60%. Could get to 65% on the A1. If we can get a bunch of counterattacks going on her as well, we'd have an even greater chance of inflicting that burn. It's still not particularly reliable, but she has a lot of cool synergy here. Like she can put irresistible decrease attack debuffs as long as she's got the HP burn, but she still has to be placing the HP burn. So that's, I mean, does that seem useful? I don't know. So we have a second epic champion here who might get the books. She's hungry for books too. Like it'd be nice if she gets them in these two, so she can put the weak version of strengthen on everybody. I don't know. I don't know. She just does not seem like a very good epic. Which just means we keep focusing on the main epics we've got. We got Tagor. We got Jamarsa. We got Neldor. He's probably going to be the one that gets the other books, come to think of it. I'm not going to use the books now because they are points during CVC, or at least they're points during some kind of tournament. You usually don't get the points during events, though. So they're probably not worth anything here. Oh, there's a Lunar Deck of Fate going on. This is something that's probably going to be completely irrelevant to this account. Because artifacts and accessories, what are the points? So in order to flip a card, it's what? $1,000. So for artifact farming, let's say we do a lot of campaign, which is probably the best thing to do for the early account. We'd be farming area, say brutal 12-3 or maybe brutal 4-3. It kind of depends if we want to keep going after duplicates of Spirit Host. I kind of do, but I also want duplicates of um, Diabolist. So I think for the most part, I'm going to stick to those two areas just to try to fill out the Guardian Ring. But this means we're likely to get a 3, 4, or 5-star common, maybe an uncommon sometimes. So the average number of all of these would probably be 8. So that's 8 points. Summon champions from shards. Sacred is only worth 1,600. That's less than normal. Normally you get 2,000. I feel like Plarium's cheating us. I think a lot of people are going to notice that and be annoyed. Like, this is an even worse ratio than usual, at least for Sacreds. Maybe the other shards are a little bit better. I don't know. They don't look better. What do you guys think of this event? I don't know at this point how many people watching along are new game players or further end game players or kind of a hybrid of both. Like, I'm a hybrid of both. I'm playing an early game and I'm trying to get back into the early game, but at the same time, I'm still maintaining my end game account. I'm still noticing this thing. We got Fatalis from the fragments. Not really relevant to our account though, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. So let's see. We got energy. I wanted to look at arena. How are we doing in the arena? Anytime we see an easy fight, we go for it. One of you the other day commented that you miss my live arena fights on my main account. I do too. So that is coming back soon. I'm probably not going to do it every day anymore. And I might scale back and not do the new game plus or the best start guide or whatever I want to start calling this. If best start doesn't really seem like the appropriate name anymore. Uh, Particularly because we're getting to the point where each new day isn't necessarily a big milestone anymore, but there's always stuff to do every day. So, I mean, if you get sick of the episodes, you could just not watch every one of them. That's another thing. And I'm saying this in a kind of a defensive way, as if anyone has said anything negative. No one has said anything negative, um, except possibly about my tea slurping. I do apologize. I try not to slurp it too loud. I know the microphone is right here, but at the same time, I need to have my tea. It's my fuel. Um, we got to do clan boss. Come to think of it, this is important. And let's collect the chests. So I got the top chest of the bottom 3. I really want to move up to brutal, but I want to wait until I have um, that third 6-star unit, which is going to be Xeno. 100% needs to be Xeno. And I'm gonna get her as soon as I can, guys. But you're looking at you're looking at the reality of being a free to play on an early game. I'm not pumping any money into this game, and I'm not putting super duper overtime into the game. So we have our 4 stars, but we basically don't have any food to feed these 5. So once I have enough food for these 5, it basically means we need 4 stars. So let's grab a 3, like War Maiden, you're a 3. We got 3 chickens, 6, 9, and I mean, that's 10 with him. We'll say that's 12. I don't want to use up these extras. I want to use these guys as books because I do want to build a Greybeard at some point. and he's going to go very well with Neldor. There's just good synergy between them because I do want to make that freeze team. It's here in the notes. I want to do a freeze team. It would basically be those two, possibly even two of him. I don't know. But something to help push through Doom Tower because really you can only get so far in Doom Tower before you stall, before the enemies are just too powerful. You can't just knock them over with your best nuker. You have to find a way to survive. Um, these two are also not food. These two probably can be food, even though they're void. And I want to keep at least one void to build, but we do actually have one void. We've got she's darked out here, but we have Renegade. She's worth building. So we have our token void that's going to be built. I'm also going to keep this guy. I am blanking on his name. That's about all we need to keep though. So these two could be food. These three are also food. They need to be leveled all the way to 30. And we have some that are all the way at 30. It'll be a while yet though. I'm not going to have a 6-star Xeno today, and tomorrow's not looking great either. Hey, we have Plarium points we could claim. Oh, extra energy? All right, I don't want that yet because it's not the right time to use it. We have the Deck of Fate event. Okay, I just marked that as red. I understand. I expect there to be a certain amount of anger in the community because they have once again dropped the value of resources towards doing that event. I don't know why Plarium continuously does that. I think it's not a good idea. Plarium, if you're watching right now, which again, I'm sure you're not, but if you are, you gotta cut it out. You gotta cut it out with the deflation of the devaluation of our resources. If you want to create inflation, increase your prices. That's how inflation normally works. If you decrease the value of your products, people don't trust you anymore. This is the problem. The trust is gone. They keep increasing the requirements for various events, increasing the frequency, and you know they're doing everything. Increase the amount of points you have to acquire, but also decrease the amount of points you get for a particular thing. It's too much Plarium. It's a bad idea. You're going to alienate your players, and once they leave, you're not going to get them back. I already have no trust, not only for Plarium. I'm probably going to do a rant about this in the next couple of days regarding the main series of events here. This Lunar Titan event, I didn't even bother uh, trying on this starter account or my main account. I have one other account where I've basically decided I'm sacrificing absolutely everything to try to get this soul, and I still don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. This is why I just don't even recommend events anymore. They are so dishonest. Plarium is an extremely dishonest company. You're just being really, really dishonest, Plarium. And we're noticing that you're being dishonest. Jesus Christ, guys. So if I ever do a new game plus again, this one it's going to be best start guide because I am trying to get a good working framework for exactly what to do on a new account. And this is where we are right now in terms of the framework. I'm trying to keep a bird's eye view of what needs to be done with an account. Um, don't know why I left this in. Uh, but next year, if I do one, or in 6 months if I do one, the next time I decide I want to do another new start guide in this game, it's going to be an eventless. There's going to be no events, and I might also do it shardless. It's just a thing that I'm thinking. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a new game plus like that. Again, this would be a year from now, so all of the opinions about that might not be relevant because it may be a completely different audience by then. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I've been rambling for half an hour so far. Have I accomplished much? I don't know. We did do all the dailies. We've got silver from the Doom Tower. There's not really much that's changed about my my team. I have been farming the very first level. I've just been farming the Griffin. Griffin drops reasonably good gear. I've rolled up some of it. Come to think of it, it's going to be in the inventory. And nope, it's going to be here. And it's called Guardian. So we have the Guardian gear. We got a lot of it now. An awful lot of it. We could probably sell a big old bunch of it. We could probably at least sell the 3-star units. But basically, we want to keep the things that have relevant stats. Like a flat attack gauntlet, this is probably something I would never keep. We could even sell a big bunch, but I don't know. We'll wait for the reset, because who knows, maybe we're going to end up taking a quest that involves selling stuff. How have we done in the quest? We've completed our quests. And in the clan shop, I've maxed out purchasing the accessories. For now, that's about all we're working on. I'm not even bothering with the legendaries, just because legendaries are tricky. We could go after another legendary, particularly this one. He's a void legendary, Yakarl the Scourge. And he'd be another barbarian, so he'd strengthen that faction. I know I already did a barbarian overview, but we don't have any legendary barbarians anyway. But still, legendary books are so hard to come by in this game, particularly if you haven't pushed to the point where you're doing at least Nightmare clan boss, that it's really not worth getting that many Legos at this stage in the game. It's tempting to want to get them, but how are you going to book them? That's the key question. But Yakarl really would be a good nuker for this faction. I mean, outside of him, the best nuker is either the defensive shield guard or possibly War Maiden with her her surprisingly good attack stat, but we got to roll her up to 6, or we got to get this guy rolled up to 6, and that could be a while. I mean, Jamarsa is going to be the first one that gets 6'd out of this group. After that, I don't know. But we do have a tour in the shield set, so he's maybe the best chance to keep low-level champions alive, and Jamarsa can then revive them if needs be in the faction. But anyway, I interrupted the clan boss thing. We collected the chests, but I didn't actually do a run. So let's do a run. I have put a crit damage banner. Amulet. It's an amulet. I put a crit damage amulet on Xeno. I think I rolled it up to 12. So she should pop out a little more damage. There's still room for growth, of course. Really, the big damage is going to come when she's 6-starred. How long is that going to take me? I don't know. I could try to have that done by the end of the week. No promises. I mean, I'll chip away at it. When I first started this game, I found that the pace that I was able to keep, if I focused mainly on just campaign farming, was I could probably build a 5 every day. Or rather, maybe a 6 every week. So building 1 6 a week is probably a good time, assuming that's the only thing you're doing. But I'm also trying to farm masteries, so that slows us down a bit as well. We do have a lot of extra energy coming in, usually. Also, at the time, I think I was using up gems to get energy refills, and right now I'm hoarding them. Just because it isn't clear what we need the gems for at this point. Sometimes, I like to use gems for getting shards, so that we have another good chance of getting champions. we might want to wait until the next 2x on Ancient Shards and maybe purchase an extra sheet with that. We have enough for one extra 11 pull, which would be a 10 pull, but plus I think we have about 2 10 pulls in the bank right now. Just waiting for a 2x. So that'll be an exciting time, but when is the next 2x on Ancients? Unclear. It used to be clear according to a rotation, because each weekend would be a different 2x. One weekend you get Ancients, one weekend you get Voids, one weekend you get Sacreds. That seems to have gotten shaken up too. So again, this is one of those things, Plarium. You're kind of ruining the trust that your players have in you, because you're shaking up all the things players thought they could depend on in the game. It's bad enough that you guys move the goalposts every time you create new content. You move the goalposts saying, okay, now you can only use this handful of champions. Now Sacred Shards are only worth 1,600 instead of 2,000. Now you need to get 5,700 points in this event rather than 4,400, even though that was already up from the 3,200. Even though that was already up from the 2,200. Why do you keep cranking up the requirements, Plarium? Did anyone ask you to do that? But this is what happens when the suits take over a game. The suits take over. The suits are calling the shots. They're doing what they think they need to do to crank up their profits. This is the way the game works. I can complain if I want, but that's not really going to change. If I wanted to play a game where this didn't happen, I shouldn't be playing a gacha game. But here I am, more than 3 years in. Am I happy with it? I don't know. I suppose in a way it's kind of like having children. You don't have full control over it, but you do still feel like it's yours, even though it's not. Plarium decides to close their doors. You know what happens to my save file? Me either. I don't know, but it's not on my computer, it's on their server, so... Plarium goes down, that's just it. This whole game just sort of evaporates. So I guess it's important not to feel too attached to your account. I can't imagine what it would feel like to have spent tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in this game, which is why I frequently say I do not recommend you ever spend any money on this game. It is not worth it. Plarium has demonstrated again and again and again that you cannot trust them. I mean, you know, I could try to focus on the positive. I look at the design of this clan boss. It is very cool. The design here is cool. So kudos to whoever designed the clan boss like 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Game hasn't changed much since. It's probably been in profit mode for a couple of years now, come to think of it. And every now and then there will be an uproar. Players will complain. Plarium might do something that gives players a modicum of feeling like they're getting value for their time and their money. Anyway. So you're seeing these brimstone procs pop out. That's getting us extra millions of damage. I think Xeno, best I've seen her do so far is maybe 2 million. And Kale is probably getting about 5 million. And that's probably the lion's share of the damage that you're getting out of this. Our DPS is basically Kale and Xeno. I am keen to get Xeno to 6. I want to see if she can outdamage Kale. I'm pretty sure she can. Once she's got Brimstone, I think she definitely can. But I don't know. Kale gets a lot out of those poisons. I also really want to get Kale an accuracy banner at some point. I think it's the only way to keep up on his accuracy. I want to switch out his amulet to get him even more crit damage. So he's even more nukey, but it really means his accuracy is going to take a hit. So I'm really looking for that accuracy banner. Doesn't even matter what's on the substats of the banner. If the main stat is an accuracy, it's going to be the banner that I want for Kale. When am I going to find that? Well, it's going to be sometime I'm farming Spider a lot, I'm sure. And I don't know when that's going to be. Because right now I'm trying to campaign farm to get up all the champions, so up in the air. 8 million damage on hard. I think maybe we've done better than this before, but that might have been on Spirit Affinity. So this is pretty good. Xeno got almost 3 million, and Kale got a little over 4. So Xeno's already closing the gap on Kale as well, and I've been cranking up Kale's damage too. So I'm happy to see this. We got Kale and Xeno collectively doing 7 million. The rest of them are kind of... Sun Wukong's doing a reasonable bit of damage too, all things considered. Really want to crank up his damage too. This is going to happen once I get... I need to get this final star so I can put a banner on him. Do I even have an accuracy banner for him? Come to think of it. So we got the crit damage amulet. Accuracy, we do have accuracy. So I could put an accuracy banner on him if I can ascend him. I think I'd rather ascend during CVC. I don't know. I kind of hate that we have to wait for CVC. It's another one of those stupid game modes that Plarium introduced, mainly to foster a sense of competition between players that didn't need to be there. We'd only need one of each. It almost seems worth it to do it, just so I can get that banner on him. How close are we to CVC? We're not very close at all. We're still a week out, so screw it. Why don't we just go to the potion mixer? I'm going to add one more of these. And one more of these. I'm just going to go for it. So we can get our banner on Sun Wukong. It's time. He needs his accuracy. Because seriously, what was his accuracy at? 65. That sucks. We need something closer to 200. I'd love it if we had some speed on it. So this has HP percent, and this has a tiny bit of attack. The HP percent is probably more valuable normally, but given that Sun Wukong has a tendency to kind of pop back, I think I'm just going to go for the flat attack. So we'll roll it straight up to 12, because I think that won't completely wipe out our silver. Oh, we got a little bit of speed after all. That's not bad. So an extra 50 accuracy is nice. This is maybe, and it didn't show it as equipped. Is that a visual bug? What the hell just happened, guys? I would still try it on. What the heck? Okay, let's try that again. We try it on. Still can't see it. Oh, I'm getting a sight gap. Something's wrong. Something is wrong with the game. What if we just go to equip? All right. I think that does it. Looks like it's finally on. Don't know what happened there. Accuracy 115. That is going to be a lot better in Arena and elsewhere. It'd be nice to crank this up as quickly as possible. Honestly, his main gear also needs to be updated. But we've only got 1 million silver now. So I don't know when I'm going to have the silver to do that. And you know what I'm just noticing? I'm noticing we actually have a couple of souls that we could summon at the summon portal. And I kind of want to summon them now. But I want to see if we can get double duty on something. I think there's a tournament going on for summoning souls. And if there's a reasonably good chance of pulling a little bit of extra something, doesn't matter. Maybe it's a little bit of extra energy. Maybe it's a little bit of extra silver. Maybe it's a couple extra gems. It's usually energy at the lowest level. And Plarium, Jesus Christ, fix this thing. I don't know what's going on, but apparently a lot of players get this error. I have now seen other content creators get the same problem. So I know that it's not just me, that there's a real problem loading the tournaments page. I don't know why we have such a big problem with the tournaments page. I've received several explanations, none of which I understand, but whatever it is, the thing that I understand is you guys fucked up. You got to fix something. I don't know why there's so like this game is just what are you guys doing, Valerian? What are they paying you for? I don't know. So if we can get 30, we can get an extra 300 energy. That's actually really cool. Um, how many points do we get for summoning a simple soul though? It might be something like 1. All right. Well, here it is. So if we get a 1 star, it's a 1. If we get a mythical soul popping out, that would instantly take us to 30. If we get a 5 star, that would instantly take us to 30. Chances of us getting 30, I suppose, are not particularly good. But why not? Let's do it. We don't even have enough for this, eh? Let's just pull them. So we're getting a 1 star. This is going to be a rare, I assume. It'd be nice if we get a Kale. Come to think of it. Come to think of it. There's a wish list. We got to make sure Xeno's on the wish list at this point. For epics, these are probably still the 3 best epics. Hang on. Hang on. Maybe I want Jamarsa to be on the list. I think I want Jamarsa on the list. I'm going to leave Neldor on the list. I think he's the 3rd best. Much as I like Hoskarul, we'll leave the 2 revivers and Neldor Rhineblade. For the rares, these probably are the best 3 still. I mean, is there anybody better than War Maiden? Nah, I think we still want War Maiden. I mean, I'd consider Eris because it's also possible that she could be good for Clan Boss. But Eris is also pretty similar to Apothecary. So I don't know. We'll leave it as is. We got 2 more pulls. We're getting another rare. It's hollow. And let's do the last one. Ooh, we're getting a 2. What's this gonna be? And it's Fury Stoker. That sounds dirtier than it needs to, doesn't it? Um, well, we didn't really get anything. If we go to the Soul Merchants, when does this reset? 49 minutes? No Kale. Fine. That was pretty disappointing. So, at least I don't need to feel bad about making it obvious where in the video that is. I'm probably not going to put it in the description. It's just a little pull that happened. The Altar of Souls is honestly pretty disappointing. The whole system implementation of souls, I mean, souls themselves, valuable. How to get the souls, bullshit. It's just utter bullshit. Unbelievable. And I do apologize if me being very negative today is kind of demotivating, but I try to call it as I see it. And if I see bullshit, I say bullshit. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit in our civilization in general. It's not like I need to pick on Plarium in particular. They're, as far as I can tell, not even a particularly badly behaved gacha company, but they're still a gacha company. So, they're doing what they do. Any new classic fights for us to do? We can go after this Duchess. We can see how long that takes. It's going to take a while. Wow, she's tough. She's resistant. I mean, at this point, we'd have to strip away the block debuffs. Sun Wukong does theoretically have the ability to do that, but he clearly doesn't have the accuracy. So somebody's showing up with their defense team. I'd say I hope we can actually manage to get through it, but I'm sure Kale can do it because it looks like at the very least one of our saving graces is she hasn't been built in regen gear. And there's nobody for her to revive, so she's not going to randomly put out, or it's not random, but she's not going to put out um, regeneration buffs. She is doing a good chunk of damage with her A1 though. Just kind of chipping away at my guys. Oh, that was a nice hit. Yeah. So that's something to chip away at as well. I mean, I got about 9 minutes left of the hour I usually set aside for doing this show. I don't really know what else I want to do with that hour. We could take a look at Hydra. I'm not entirely sure. Well, you know what? Running Hydra's free, so we may as well try it. I don't know why it says ineligible here. Anybody know what this means? Like ineligible for what? Is it that the clan is ineligible? Is it we were ineligible last time? What is it? What do they mean by that? So I want to put together the absolute best team I can. So we want the best aura we can put together, which is probably going to be Tagor's hit points aura, because it's an extra 25% HP. We want Kale and Sun Wukong. Kale is our damage dealer. Sun Wukong is placing block buffs. That's going to be important. We want somebody with provoke so that we can provoke the head of decay. This is maybe the most important thing to consider because if you can't provoke the head of decay, you really can't place debuffs for all that long. They just get removed. So I'm gonna bring this dude just because he does have an area of effect attack that he can switch to every other turn. Jamarsa lowers the cooldowns. She's tough. She's one of the last ones left that we'd be using. And finally, we could use Xeno because she is going to do a fair chunk of damage with her Brimstone. Nobody here has Provoke though. That's something that I feel like is just straight up missing. So you know what? I want to take a look at the roster and see if there's anyone. So we want this one. Atur has Provoke. Master Butcher has Provoke. And this guy that I called worthless on a number of occasions has Provoke on his A1. 30% chance, books up to a 50. And it's each hit. I mean, that's intriguing. I still think he kind of sucks, though. I wouldn't bother building him. Jizo has a Provoke somewhere. Attacks one enemy, 80% chance of a Provoke. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. That's not hugely reliable either. Then we have Master Butcher. We have places a Provoke for 2 turns. Man, that's a good one. And it's places. There's no percent whatever. We got to get Master Butcher in the team. He's even got a Provoke on his A1. I think this might be our Provoker, guys. This guy's got it. It's where? 50% chance of a provoke on a 5-turn, can book to a 3-turn cooldown, and a tour. He's got 2 random hits. I think the first one you can target whoever you want, and the second hit is random. I think that's how this works. But still, a 50% chance, booking to a 75. I don't love the 75. He's got provokes on both, though. So he can attempt to provoke every turn. My absolute favorite, if I were to consider a provoker that is reasonably accessible, it's somebody from my favorite faction, the Barbarians. It's this guy, Sentinel. He's got a 60% chance, which books to an 85 on his A1. And with the Mastery, you can even get it to a 90% chance of provoke on the A1. Now that's reliable, because you could just have him spam this again and again. But Master Butcher, being able to just place it for 2 turns, that's good. So let's go back. Actually, let's look at our Master Butcher then. He's going to need decent gear. So Master Butcher, first of all, his speed is garbage. Got to do something about that speed. Oh my God. So we'll go with primary speed. We're going to need speed boots. Oh, I picked up more speed boots. I spotted these in the market, and they were just 5-star speed boots, so I bought them. That's probably why our silver's so wiped out. Because I happened to see these speed boots, and speed boots are always good. Can roll them up to 8. That's pretty good. We got defense percent. I like that. We could probably even get away with rolling them up to 12. That kind of wipes out our silver. It's even got accuracy on it. I love it. I might even want this for, I was going to say War Maiden, but I think she's already got accuracy boots. So that probably suits her. Armiger's got accuracy on his too, eh? That's cool. We could try these on, and it's actually updating this. So 121 speed. That's still not great. I want to get it to at least 150, but maybe even better would be 200. Be nice if we could get to 200. So let's see. Maybe I want HP percent just because he's going to need to be tough. It'd be nice if there was speed on the substats. I have this on my alternate Diabolist. I'm not really using her that much. We could even roll this up to 8. And try that on. That gets us a little more speed. We need a chest piece. Maybe we want accuracy on the chest piece, come to think of it. So let's see. We got this one from her. Am I okay taking that from her? We've also got one here. We could try that on. This is from speed, though. I guess it depends how much accuracy we can get. So at this point, we're looking for the weapon, the helmet, the shield, and we want the best substats we can get on them. So these 3, the top 3, these are the best to hunt for the right substats, because you really want to make sure you get the right main stats on gauntlets. Gauntlets, that's the best place to get HP percent, because we want accuracy on the chest and we want speed on the boots. So we got to get HP on the gauntlets if we want any HP at all cooked into the kit. So substats, speed. Who can we afford to sacrifice stuff from? I mean, a Thel, do we really need a Thel to have this? A Thel isn't exactly relevant. Wait, I could borrow gear from a Thel. Why not? So we could take that. We could take particularly if it's got a speed substat, especially if it's got both speed and accuracy. That's the dream. But that doesn't give us anything from speed or accuracy. It does give us something from perception, which we could take as well. We could take a helmet from here. We could take a shield from here, like this one. That's getting us to almost 150 speed. The accuracy is decent. Really, we just need... I guess we need the speed accuracy thing after all. So we will deactivate this stuff. And the accuracy piece we're looking for then, the accuracy chest came from speed. It's on her. Let's do it. I like it. We get to 160 speed, almost. I mean, we can make it 160 if we use a glyph on it. The accuracy is 115. The HP total is pretty abysmal. I almost want to level this guy up a little just to make him a little tougher. But let's just go in and see what happens. Maybe he'll be able to survive the first couple of hits. Really, I want to get that provoke up. Of course, with provoke, you want him to be able to take some hits. What do we got here? Nothing terribly exciting. So let's go to the clan boss. Let's go to Hydra, which is not this one. And we'll go to normal. And we need to replace somebody. Let's replace him then. As much as I love the idea of using Shield Guard, I just keep finding that he doesn't necessarily fit. So we'll bring in Master Butcher, and I'm not going to start on auto. I want to do manual just to see where we can get. I don't even know if he has time to move before we get attacked or before the heads do anything. 160 speed might not be good enough. It's really not. So I think their statuses are already protected. So I think I needed a speed of more like 190. So this is kind of... I mean, we can still hit with this. See how much damage we do. 8,000. This provoke, which is what we would have wanted to use, it's not really going to affect them under this poison cloud. Normally, I'd want to just hit this guy. Oh, wow. Why is that so slow? So we're going to be doing weak hits for the first little while. I don't know. At this point, I just want to hit auto and cycle through this stuff. But we're not going to be able to land anything with this poison cloud up, so we have to wait for it to expire, basically, or we have to come in with a team that's fast enough to beat it. Hang on. I think the poison cloud only affects extra hits. So let's see. If we free regroup and just start again, I think as long as we're not using the A1 and we use the A2, I think we do have a chance of provoking this guy. So he's putting up that life barrier, which is annoying that we can't stop him from doing that. But we can hit with this AoE, doesn't matter. Much bigger hit this time anyway, for some strange reason, but I think we can still provoke him. Alright, he's resisting it. Man, we may not actually have enough accuracy to do this. I think this was a disaster. I regret even attempting this. That was humiliating. I'm sorry about that, everyone. Hydra is not a good idea right now. We do not have the gear for Hydra. Hydra is something else. Even this is another thing. Like, normal Hydra really should have more reasonable stats for a starting account, right? It became available, what, at level 42 or 45? But the stat requirements are just something else. They're just somewhere else. Um, I'd like to say I planned that just to say, see, this is what I was talking about. You need much better stats for this, but I'd forgotten just how overtuned Hydra is compared to where the stats are going to be on an account like this. So we probably need an accuracy closer to 200, and we probably need speeds closer to 200. So I don't know when that's going to happen. Not anytime soon. So where does that leave us for today's goals? Forget about this on Hydra. This is not going to happen unless we can really crank up the stats to 11. So we could do the barbs. Why not? Let's go to Faction Wars. Let's see if we can get any more stars. So we can go to this stage. I wasn't even bringing Jamarsa. Let's get rid of this guy. Actually, it's in the presets, isn't it? Hoskarol, what kind of an aura are you bringing? 30% defense? That's actually better than Jamarsa's aura. So we'll keep that. We'll get rid of Trumbor, or whatever his name is, and we'll bring in Jamarsa. I'm not going to bother with any presets right now because I think they should just be able to kind of do their job. I might even leave this on too, because even if I want to farm the crypt, I probably want to farm at a higher level because I know this team can defeat a higher level. So with Jamarsa, I'm just going to stay vigilant of anybody getting knocked over because I don't want her using her AoE revive too hastily. Just in case she revives somebody just to get knocked down again right before taking out the boss. But assuming War Maiden can survive, because I think she's the weakest link. Assuming War Maiden can survive, we should be able to get perfect. His hits seem to be random. He doesn't seem to be targeting the weakest, which is a good thing. Or maybe she's just targeting people that don't... I don't even know who the boss is targeting anymore. It looks like we've probably pretty much made it, though. Alright, come on, guys. You can do it. Oh my god, that's disappointing. Alright, turn off auto. Actually, yeah, and then the boss dies. That's irritating. So we'll try again. I think this team has the capacity to do this on auto one of these times. Because really, we got feared out at the end there. As long as not everybody gets feared, then we should be able to somehow either revive War Maiden at the right time. I mean, I could also just build War Maiden more. I'm intending to build War Maiden eventually. It's just one at a time, right? We want to build these champions one at a time. Maybe we need to set Hoskarol's preset so that he does his stun cleanse at the right time. That would be making better use of Hoskarol, wouldn't it? I mean, this is practically the whole point. We could be using this guy in Faction Wars to counter the boss. Anyway, let's see how it goes this time. We've almost got the boss. Not today, boss man. All right, so we got the full stars. Let's see if we can do 8. Should be a lot easier now that we got Jamarsa. We got that powerful single target heal. We got an area of effect revive in case we need that. War Maiden is making these waves super duper soft. Hoskarol has the capacity to crowd control. If we're knocking down the first wave that easily, it might even make sense to have him hold off on his stun hit for the second wave. But I don't know, it does some of the damage too. This team seems to be doing a pretty good job. There's Shield Guard doing his hard carry. This is where the damage I think can get very severe, because when these dogs get paired in the arena, I think they ignore defense or they get a guaranteed freeze. Maybe it's the guaranteed freeze they get. Maybe it's this guy that ignores defense. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's just the guaranteed freeze. That'd be very good for crowd control. It's such a weird little synergy that these two demon dogs get. Because it seems unlikely that anybody's ever going to find it worth it to build a team with both these demon dogs. So it just means that it's annoying when you have to encounter it in faction wars. But is it realistic that you're ever going to pair them? Well, maybe in the demon faction. If we ever get both dogs. Like, one of those dogs is campaign farmable, but the other isn't. Let's see how stage 9 goes. And how are we doing for time? I'm already 11 minutes over. This has actually gone quite a while. But let's just see this through, and then I'll call it a day. This has been another fun session with you guys, and by fun, you know what I mean. Or maybe you don't. Maybe I don't know what I mean by fun. Is this game fun? I can't tell. This is one of those days where I come in and I can't be dishonest about this and say that this is fun. This game is more of an obsession. It's more of an addiction than fun. And when people ask, when I say I've created a YouTube channel and they ask what I talk about and I say it's this game and they say, "Oh, do you recommend this game?" No, I don't recommend this game. What do you guys think? You guys at home, do you guys recommend this game to your friends? Do you want to get your friends in on it? Like, the best thing about this game is the community. We have a really robust community. Lots of chatter on the various discords. But it's kind of like a camaraderie that you might acquire in some other workplace. Particularly a high stress workforce, like one of those really high stress office jobs, or you know, a military career. Damn it. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, we got her back. Good work, Jamarsa. Alright, let's just take this guy down. I guess you call that a trauma bond. Are we trauma bonding? Is that what's happening in the community? Anyway, I mean, I could keep pushing with this to see how far we get. I don't know. I think I'm gonna call it a day, though. I think I've been rambling long enough. I don't really have anything poignant to say at the end of this video other than, as usual, thanks for stopping by. Keep chipping away at what you're doing. It is. Let me do a refresher just for myself. So it's day 36. It's day 36. We've saved up this many resources. With the gems we've got, I could even do an 11 pull, so I could pull 30 of these on a better day. What's available today? Some half decent units. In Void, we got Madame Seer. I really like her. And then we got Oboro. Why Oboro? There's a code for an Oboro. I guess this is for anybody else who's not new who might want Oboro. Madame Seer is intriguing. However, I think in the news they're talking about where did they announce who it would be? I think tomorrow it's going to be Seer, and who's the other one going to be? Skullcrown. So maybe I can end on a question, come to think of it, because these really are fantastic champions. If I go to the Night Revenant, this is one of the ones that's going to be available tomorrow, I believe. It's Skull Crown. So do you guys think it's worth it to pull our single Void Shard? Maybe I can even find a way to acquire another one in one of the modes. I don't know. But do you think it's worth it in a non-2x to try to go after Skull Crown? Because we do have a much higher chance of pulling a Skull Crown. It's merely an epic. And she has a speed aura in battles. Who cares? We've got Sun Wukong. But she does have a passive that puts her under unkillable, which can be really, really annoying in the arena. Um, she'll just stay alive and she'll put out a huge amount of damage. She's got nothing but area of effect attacks, and she is amazing at campaign farming. She'd become the new campaign farmer, basically. I'd prioritize building her. She would be a 6-second campaign farmer. The other big one is an orc. It's Seer. So this is the other big one. She's got an amazing wave nuke. We could also build her out for arena. She's got an aura that works everywhere. It's resistance, which is, it's an okay aura. And she has this buff as well. She can place weaken on everybody. And honestly, we do need a good weaken champion. We have a Thel and we have Xeno, but both of them aren't terrific weaken champions. Particularly for area of effect. We don't have anybody that's got an AoE weaken. I don't think we do anyway. Come to think of it, I think we do, but it's not somebody I'm interested in building. Anyway, we have even an A1 that cycles through returns more quickly. You got this chance of an extra turn, and you can even increase it if you fully book it. 20% chance to get an extra turn off her A1. She is like the queen of nuking waves, and she would make Doom Tower a lot more doable at this juncture. So that's the question. Do you guys think one of those two champions is worth attempting it during a non-2x? That said, thanks for stopping by. See you on the next video. Take care of yourselves.